William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes,
and it's Gabriel!
But for you, he's the best centre-back in the league.
You know, I'm so strong.
10 points up for grabs. Now you have to match what the other player writes on the whiteboard. So you're working as a team here. Now we've seen this partnership to great effect.
Look, I'm just gonna say it. Arsenal's defence isn't just good anymore, it's the benchmark. The thing everyone else is trying to copy. And if you want to know why, you only need to look at two names, William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. Today, we're breaking down how this partnership went from solid to absolutely world class, and why they might just be the key to Arsenal finally getting their hands on that Premier League trophy. So, before we get into the tactical stuff and the stats, let's talk about why this matters right now. Just a few weeks ago, William Saliba signed a new 5-year contract with Arsenal. We're talking commitment through 2030, basically his entire prime. And in his interview with the club, he was pretty clear about his ambitions. He said he's proud to be extending and that he wants to win some trophies at Arsenal, not at Real Madrid, who were supposedly interested, not at PSG, at Arsenal. That's massive because in modern football, keeping your best players is half the battle, and Saliba isn't just any player, he's the heartbeat of this defense. Him signing long-term basically says, we're building something here, and I want to be part of it. And here's the thing, the numbers back up his confidence. Over the last 2 seasons, Arsenal have had the best defensive record in the Premier League. Not just good, the best. So, Saliba staying means this core, him, Gabriel, the whole defensive structure, stays intact through their peak years. And that continuity, that's how you build dynasties. Alright, let's rewind a bit and look at what Arsenal have actually achieved defensively. In the 2023-24 season, Arsenal conceded just 29 goals in 38 Premier League games. That's the best in the league, 5 fewer than Manchester City, who came second. They also kept 18 clean sheets, which was also the most in the division. And here's a crazy stat, William Saliba played every single minute of that league campaign. Every single minute. He was the first Arsenal outfield player to do that in the Premier League era. Now, some people might say, okay, but was that just a one-off? Maybe they just got lucky. Nope. Fast forward to 2024-25 and Arsenal do it again. They finished the season with the league's fewest goals conceded, 34 this time, and their expected goals against numbers were also the best in the division. That means it's not luck, it's not fluky deflections or goalkeepers having worldy sessions, it's progress, it's structure, it's 2 world-class centre-backs doing their thing week in, week out. And early indications for 2025-26, Arsenal are still right up there defensively. We're not far enough into the season to call it a trend just yet, but if you're looking at the underlying numbers, shots faced, quality of chances conceded, Arsenal are still rock solid. What we're seeing here is consistency, and in the Premier League, where you're facing different tactical setups every single week, that's incredibly rare. Let's start with the man of the moment, William Saliba. First things first, physical profile. He's about 1.92, 1.93 meters tall, right-footed, and while he's obviously a big lad, what stands out isn't just his size, it's his speed. Saliba is quick, like actually quick, not just quick for a centre-back, he's got genuine pace, which is massive when you're defending a high line in the Premier League. On the ball, he's calm, probably the calmest player in Arsenal's backline. You'll see him pick up the ball from Raya, and instead of just hoofing it long or playing it safe, he'll step into midfield, he'll carry it under pressure, he'll split lines with passes. That ability to progress the ball, it's huge for Arsenal's build-up because it drags opposition forwards out of position and opens up space for the midfielders. Defensively, his reading of the game is top tier. He doesn't dive into tackles recklessly. Instead, he uses his body positioning to angle attackers away from the goal, pushing them wide towards the touchline, where they're less dangerous. And when he does need to recover, that pace kicks in. You'll see him tracking runners from 40 yards out, and somehow he'll get there in time to make the block or force a bad touch. Now, let's talk accolades, because this is not just an Arsenal fan saying our players are good. Saliba made the PFA Team of the Year for 2023-24, and then at Euro 2024, even though France didn't win the tournament, Saliba was named in UEFA's official team of the tournament. That's validation at the international level, elite company. So yeah, when people ask, is Saliba one of the best centre-backs in the world, the answer is yes, and Arsenal have just locked him down for 5 more years. Now, let's talk about the other half of this partnership, Gabriel Magalhaes. Gabriel is 1.9 meters tall and he's left-footed, which is actually a pretty big deal. Having a natural left footer at left centre-back, it means Arsenal can build out from the back with better angles on both sides. Gabriel can play those diagonal balls out to the right wing with his right foot if needed, but having a left foot in that position just makes everything cleaner. If Saliba is the calm, composed one, Gabriel is the enforcer. He's physical, he's aggressive, he wins his duels. When there's a 50-50 ball in the air, you're backing Gabriel to come down with it. And in the modern Premier League, when you're facing big target men and runners making contact, that physicality, it's non-negotiable. But here's where Gabriel really separates himself: set pieces, not just defending them, scoring from them. Since the start of the 2023-24 season, Arsenal have scored 20 goals from corners in the Premier League. That's 5 more than any other team in the division. And Gabriel, he's scored 5 of those 20. That's the most by any Premier League player in that span. Think about that. Your left centre-back is your joint top corner threat. That is insane. And it's not just about him being tall, it's about Arsenal's set piece. Nicolas Jova, designing routines specifically to free Gabriel up. They'll use screens, blockers, decoy runs, all to get Gabriel a free header in the 6-yard box. And more often than not, he buries it. Just last month, well, technically September 2025, Gabriel scored a 96th-minute winner against Newcastle. Late header. That's the kind of clutch moment that wins you titles, and it's not a one-off. He does this consistently. So, when you combine his defending, his physicality, and his goal threat, you've got a complete package. Gabriel is one of the best left-sided centre-backs in the world right now, and I don't think that's even debatable. Okay, so we've got 2 world-class centre-backs, but why do they work so well together? First up, the footedness. Saliba, right-footed on the right, Gabriel, left-footed on the left. That might sound a bit basic, but it's actually huge for how Arsenal build up. Saliba can open his body and play passes into Odegaard, White, Saka on the right. Gabriel can do the same on the left with Martinelli, Timber, whoever's playing that side. It's symmetrical, it's clean, and it means Arsenal can progress the ball from the back without awkward body shapes. Second, their responsibilities in transition. When Arsenal lose the ball high up the pitch, Saliba is the one who covers the big spaces. He's got the pace to sprint back and recover. If an opponent breaks through on the counter, Saliba is the eraser. He'll track the runner, angle him wide, and either force a bad shot or delay until help arrives. Gabriel, meanwhile, is the aggressor. He'll step up to meet the first attacker, make contact, slow them down. He's the first line of pressure in those moments, and because he's so physical, he usually wins those duels. It's a classic one steps, one covers system. When Gabriel goes to press, Saliba drops a bit deeper to cover the space behind. When Saliba steps into midfield with the ball, Gabriel narrows and holds the defensive line. They move like a seesaw, always balanced, always in sync. And the proof is in the numbers. Arsenal had 29 goals against in 2023-24, 34 in 2024-25, both times league best. Their expected goals against has been the lowest in the Premier League for 2 straight years. That is not luck. That's 2 centre-backs who know exactly where each other are, who trust each other completely, and who execute their roles at an elite level. When you watch Arsenal defend, you're not seeing chaos, you're seeing a system. And these 2 are the foundation of it. Now, let's be real, no centre-back pairing exists in a vacuum. You could have the two best defenders in the world, but if the system around them is rubbish, they'll get exposed. Arsenal's structure, though, it's built specifically to get the most out of Saliba and Gabriel. When Arsenal have the ball high up the pitch, their rest defense, basically the shape they hold when possession breaks down, is usually a back two, Saliba and Gabriel, plus one or two of Rice, White, Partey, or Timber. These pivots sit in the half spaces, so the centre-backs can stay central and own the middle of the pitch. What that means is Saliba and Gabriel aren't isolated. They're not defending 2-on-3 every time Arsenal lose the ball. They've got cover, and because Arsenal controls so much of the game territorially, the opposition doesn't get many clean looks at them. In fact, in 2023-24, Arsenal had the lowest expected goals against in Europe's top 5 leagues. Not just the Premier League, Europe. That's Bayern, Madrid, PSG, City, everyone, and Arsenal were the best at suppressing chances. Part of that is Saliba and Gabriel, but another part of it is Arteta's system, giving them the tools to succeed. And then there's the set pieces. We've already talked about Gabriel's goal threat, but that's not just him being good in the air. It's Nicolas Jova designing routines that create free headers. It's Saliba's screening at the near post so Gabriel gets a clean run. It's Rice positioning himself for second balls. The whole thing is choreographed. On the defensive side, Arsenal's set-piece defending has been elite too. And again, a lot of that is Gabriel being a monster in the air, clearing everything that comes near him. So yeah, Arteta's structure is a massive part of why this works, but it's a two-way street. The structure helps Saliba and Gabriel, and Saliba and Gabriel make the structure work. Alright, let's get into the fun stuff. How do teams actually try to beat this pairing? Because, make no mistake, opposition coaches spend hours watching Arsenal film, looking for weaknesses, and there are patterns that keep coming up. Pattern 1. Attack the channels where the fullbacks invert. When Arsenal build up, their fullbacks often tuck inside, especially White on the right. That leaves space behind them, out wide. So, if you can play a quick diagonal ball into that channel, you can isolate your winger or forward one-on-one with the fullback, or make Saliba or Gabriel cover that zone. Arsenal's counter, one centre-back drops slightly deeper, or Rice drops into the back line to make it a back three temporarily. It's all about adjusting on the fly. Pattern number 2. Pin Gabriel, then switch. Gabriel is aggressive, right? So if you put a big target man on him, make him contest in the air, and then quickly switch the ball to the other side, you can catch Arsenal's shape adjusting. It's all about overloading on one side, then exploiting the weak side before they recover. Arsenal's counter, White or Saliba shift across early, Rice anticipates the switch and closes down, and honestly, Saliba's pace bails them out a lot here. Pattern 3. Crowd Gabriel on set pieces. If you know Gabriel is Arsenal's main aerial threat on corners, just flood his zone, block his run, make it impossible for him to get a clean header. Arsenal's counter, they vary Gabriel's starting position. Sometimes he's deep, sometimes he's at the near post. They use decoys, they create space in different ways. It's a constant chess match. The point is, yes, teams have ideas for how to attack Saliba and Gabriel, but Arsenal have counters for all of them. And more often than not, the centre-backs are good enough individually to just win the battle anyway. So, where does this partnership go from here? Well, the short answer is nowhere. They're staying. Saliba just signed until 2030. Gabriel signed a new deal earlier this year too. They're locked in for the foreseeable future, which means Arsenal's defensive foundation is secure through both players' primes. Individually, the accolades keep stacking up. Saliba's UEFA Team of the Tournament at Euro 2024, multiple PFA Team of the Year selections, Gabriel's reputation as the Premier League's most dangerous set-piece centre-back. These aren't just good players, they are elite, world-class operators getting recognition at the highest levels. And collectively, over the last 2 seasons, Arsenal have had the best defensive record in England. If they stay fit, if they stay in form, there's no reason that doesn't continue. The big question though, it's whether this defensive excellence translates into trophies. Because, let's be honest, Arsenal haven't won the Premier League yet under Arteta. They've come close, they've been in title races, but City keep finding a way. If Arsenal are going to break through, it's going to be because their defense holds firm in those big moments. And with Saliba and Gabriel, they've got the best possible foundation to do exactly that. So, here's the bottom line. Football changes fast, systems evolve, players come and go. But elite defending, that travels. It's reliable. It's the foundation of every great team. And right now, Arsenal have the most reliable defensive platform in the Premier League. Saliba's timing, his composure, his pace. Gabriel's power, his presence, his clutch gene. Arteta's structure bringing it all together. It's a formula that works, and it's a formula that's here to stay. So, here's my question for you. Do you think Saliba and Gabriel are the best centre-back pairing in England right now? And more importantly, are they the key to Arsenal finally winning the Premier League? Drop your top 3 centre-back partnerships in the comments. I want to see if we can get a proper debate going. If you learned something today, smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. We break down tactical stuff like this every single week. See you in the next one.